let's just get straight into it. We're going to be looking at Excel specifically today, and I want to just share my screen. Okay, so the first thing to note in Excel, which is a bit different to some of the other products such as Word or PowerPoint, is that you have to have this auto-save button turned on. In other words, the document has to be auto-saved somewhere in order for Copilot to work. Otherwise, if you just click on Copilot itself, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to turn on the autosave button there. And once that's on, I can go here to this Copilot. I can click down. I see that it has changed a little bit over the past few days. So we've got chat and there's app skills. I'm going to click on the app skills and you can see it opens up another little window here with some of the information that we need. It already gives a few prompts that you can ask it. But before we get into that, if I have an Excel worksheet such as this, and I hope you can all see my screen, but if I have a worksheet like this, there are a whole lot of biscuit orders. The product is here. And on this side, I've got a little table with the product names as well as the price of the product. Now, if I wanted to get the prices in here for all of these products, what function would I normally use in Excel? You can just unmute yourself and answer as cool with me.
VLOOKUP.
VLOOKUP, right? So you put something like is equal to VLOOKUP, and then I would normally press the tab key. It'll open up the brackets. I can click on this FX. I can say, I want you to look up this oat meat raisin from this table, and I'm gonna absolute that so it doesn't move, and I want column number 2, and I will say false here. And usually that's the one that gives me that total. If I just double click to the bottom, it'll give me all of those prices, right? So it's VLOOKUP. In some cases, if you know XLOOKUP, it's probably a little bit better of a referencing to use. But essentially, that's what you would do. And you have to know that VLOOKUP is the formula for this. Otherwise, it's simply it's not going to work basically. Now, let's just say somebody doesn't know all of this. They don't really know Excel. They are here. They just want to get the prices in. They've got a selection just to pick from here. They go into Copilot and click in this table, and they put a prompt down here. And I've just said, add a column with the biscuit prices. So I didn't even say reference to the names here or the prices. I just said, add a column with the biscuit prices. I click on that little arrow there, and it gives me a bit of what it's doing. It says almost there, so we'll just give it a few seconds. Okay, so it says generating formula columns, suggestions for this part here. You can see there's this fancy little color. It looks like a beautiful rainbow on the left. It means AI is working, Copilot is working, and if you go down to the bottom, it basically puts in the actual formula that it's suggesting, and it kind of gives you a little demonstration here of the biscuit prices of what it's wanting to do. So once you have that, you can decide if you want to insert this as a column. So if I click on this insert button, if I just hover over it, you can see on the left, it's already putting those prices in for me. So if I don't want it, I can just come out. But if I want it, I can go and I can just click on this insert column button, and you can see it's brought in all of these biscuit prices for me just by a very simple narrative using plain English and just asking it to add a column with the biscuit prices. So that's essentially how Copilot is going to work, and even in Excel. So Excel's got probably about 500 functions, I think of those 500, I probably know about 70 of them. I haven't counted, but I think it's about 70. And every now and again, in order to do something, you need to know and understand what those functions are in order to get the result that you're wanting to do. So I'll do a quick pause there and just ask, has anyone been using Copilot? And did anyone know that this feature actually existed where you can just speak in plain English to the Copilot?
No, I know. We're not making use of it. It's Liz.
Hi, Liz.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So is that something you think you could use? I'm going to give you a few more cases now.
Definitely.
But
I know VLOOKUP, but I know a lot of people that don't know VLOOKUP, so it will help them.
yes, 100%. 100%. Okay, I see Sich has mentioned he's actually not used it with Excel yet. But again, that's the whole purpose of these webinars. So I'm going to move on to this next sheet. And I'm going to click on a new conversation, which is this button, this plus button here. Click on that. Gives me a new section. Now, many times we will get a data dump similar to something like this, whether it's from SAP, from Sage, Zero, whatever the case might be. It's got a whole lot of data. There's an order number, there's the region, the product, the customer type, the month, quantity sold, unit price, total revenue, total cost, and then obviously the revenue minus the cost would give you your profits, right? But this is just a data dump. And in looking at this, you can see there's already a few things that you don't really want, or that you want it formatted in a much better way. So, I mean, the first thing, you can look at is in column B. And you can see it's got the region and the product, but it's in one column. And you want it represented in separate columns. Now, while Excel is a powerful tool, and even pivot tables, which is one of the most powerful tool in Excel, pivot tables require you to have your data cleaned. So if your data is in a bit of a mess, it's like dirty data, if you want to call it that, your pivot tables are not going to work. And cleaning data in Excel is like cleaning dishes. Nobody wants to do it. So if you click on this column B here, and I'm going to just put in a prompt to say, separate the region from the product and place them into new columns. Simple, again, it's just natural language. I haven't put in a formula. Normally, if you do this in Excel, you've got to press is equal to left and select four digits, or select right, and it becomes very confusing, or use comma delimited to kind of separate that, and it doesn't always work out that nice. So off it goes. You can see it's doing something. It's saying that it's extracting the region. It's given the actual formula that it's put in. It's just text before. I've never used that formula, and it's giving another one that says text after. And then again, you can see it separated this region from the product, and that's exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to say insert column. It's going to put it in column J and K, so it's going to set it up in the other two columns as well. So I'm going to hit insert, and again, you can see it's put this whole thing just as I wanted it in here. So again, it's cleaned up that data. Again, if you look at the customer type, column C, it's not the greatest. You can see, I mean, there's spacing in here that I don't really want. Some of them are not formatted properly. Some are in caps, some are in small letters. So I'm just going to highlight that column C, and I am going to put in this prompt that says clean the customer type column. Please remove extra spaces and ensure capitalization is consistent. Please also ensure that farmers market appears just like this. So I've put that in, I've put that prompt, and again, it tries to understand the data that's in there. We'll just give it 1 or 2 moments. Again, you can see this beautiful colors of AI. I call it the rainbow color, and it's doing something. So it's generating a formula and a suggestion. And again, you can see it gives me the actual example of what it's looking at. And you can see the spaces are gone. It's in capital letters. So I'm just going to insert the column. And you can see under column L, it's put in exactly what I wanted. It's cleaned up all the ugly, dirty data that's here, the spaces, the caps, and all of that. So there are a few other prompts. So let's just look into this one here with the total quantities. So in here, you can see it's got some of the quantities, there's the units, there's the revenue, but there's some that's missing in here. And to get back to the quantity sold, it's your total revenue minus, divided by your unit price, would give you back your quantity sold. You can put in a formula for that. But again, I'm just going to highlight that section. I'll just say, can you fill in the missing quantity sold by taking into account price and the total revenue? I'm going to hit that again, see what it does. And the good thing about it, as I said, it usually tells you exactly what it's doing. And it also gives you the actual formula in case you need to do an audit trail of how this has worked, or even for your understanding in the future. But it's not just something that just appears. It actually tells you. So as I said, it's this one on the quantity sold. There were a few cells missing. And again, I've asked it just to complete it. And you can see filled quantity sold. And if I click on this insert, it's put all in the column M here. It's put in all the quantities. So now there's absolutely nothing that's missing. So I'm just going to say insert column. And it's going to put the actual margins that are that we needed. Let's maybe try something else. If I look at the profits that's here, I want to get an idea of what the percentage of the profit margins are. I can just say add a column showing me the profit margin. Click go. Let's see if it's able to put the right percentages for me. Okay, so it says generating formula columns for that range. And you can see it's brought in the profit margin. I'm just going to select insert column. So here you can see the percentages for me. And like I said, you can, if you click on the cell, you can actually see what that calculation, what exactly it's doing, not just for this, but all the ones that we've already done. So like, I mean, this is blank formula. I've never knew that existed. I knew about the round one, but yeah, it's interesting. Like this trim, the lowercase, making it uppercase, etc., and trim. These are formulas text after. As you said, I don't really know most of them, but if I just put it in as plain English, that's going to help me. So it's making it a lot more easier. The next prompt, usually you would put in a table. In fact, that's what I should have done first. I should have made this a table. Let me do that quickly. It's always a good idea to create a table. You highlight all of them, you say insert, and you say table. So that's what it is. I've got highlight the entire row where the profit margin exceeds 50%. So I want to see where the profit margin is above 50%. Normally we'll use conditional formatting for that. You'll have to go highlight, say greater than, and all of that. But again, I just want to say this in plain English. Here in Copilot, it's understanding my data again. Okay, here's the color. Let's put in the actual formula. I can say apply. And now you can see it's actually highlighted everything that is above 50%. Quite easy, quite straightforward. It makes our lives much easier, especially for those people who don't understand all the formulas in Excel. Now, the last thing, actually, maybe just three more things. Let's see, we've got some time. Let's just look at this one. So I'm going to put in a prompt here to say, make a table that shows me the profit by region. So the actual regions being east, north, south, west. Normally, if you wanted to create that in that format, you will create a pivot table for that, and you'll be able to see the profitability. But again, let's just ask it, and let's just see what it says. Okay, it's given us the profit by region, what's in the east, north, south, and that's exactly what I've asked for. I can say insert to new sheet, and you can see it's put it for me nicely into another sheet, which you would normally do as a pivot table in any case. But yeah, I've just done that very quickly just by asking it that. Let's try. We go back to this data. I'm just going to ask it to make the line chart showing total revenue by month. And let's see if it's able to create a chart for me. It should be able to take the actual date that's in here. You can see the order month. And let's see what it gives us. Okay, it says I analyzed the data and here's what I found. And it gives us this chart. You can have a look at it, see that it's reasonable. You can just say add to new sheet. And up here you can see per month it's given the total, it summed up the total revenue. It's actually done a pivot table, as you can see on the right. But from here, it's also done the graph for me, or the chart for me, so that I can see the trend. And you can pretty much ask it anything you want. Now, okay, so we're going to end there. Thanks everyone for your time. We went a little over today, but it was good. At least there were some questions. And then for those of you who don't know, this is a community of accountants that meets every second Thursday from 3 to 3:30. And we discuss how we are using AI in our practices. I mentioned this before, that the big four, Deloitte, KPMG, EY, who's the one, PwC, have each invested into AI. So we're nowhere near there. We run our own little practices. And the best way that we're going to get around this is that if we start having communities like this, where we all get together and share with each other how we are using it. I've said before that I don't think AI is going to replace accountants, but I do think that accountants that use AI are going to replace those who don't. So it's a fantastic way to start. There's a lot of efficiencies that we can get. And as things continue, whether it be AI or automation, streamline and help us run our practices in a better way. So thank you all again. Have a good rest of your Thursday, Friday, and weekend that's almost here. And we look forward to seeing you again. The next one is going to be on the 23rd of October. John's going to be giving us some updates and insights into what he's been doing in his practice with the use of an IT specialist as well. So I'm looking forward to that, and looking forward to seeing all of you again on the 23rd at 3 p.m. So thanks, everyone. Have a good afternoon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.